What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another live stream. Today, we'll be looking ahead to the game tomorrow. Arsenal against Leeds. We all know Leeds took a 7-0 beatdown midweek by Manchester City. But we all know if anybody can roll into town, Santa Claus FC settings, and give you a victory out of nowhere, it is Arsenal. Anyone who tuned in yesterday, you know that was probably the most shameless episode of Curtis Shaw TV in the history of the channel. We lived it up. We was in party mode, VIP settings. You could only get in if you was in the top four. But today, we're back to regular business, man. I said enjoy it while it lasts because anything can happen with Arsenal. You know, we are one of them teams that, they'll take you high and then all of a sudden they will do the typical Arsenal thing. So back to, we're calm today. A lot more balance today, people, than yesterday. There was no balance at all. Big up to everyone in the comments today. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a great Friday. A lot of people enjoyed the stream yesterday. Yeah, there are one or two stories saying that Leeds are having a lot of problems with COVID and injuries and stuff like that. Stand up if you ain't Tottenham. Stand up. You get me once. You'll get me once every stream. Let's go into Granit Xhaka mode, people, straight away. Let's slow it down. Friday settings. Long week at work for a lot of you. Let's slow it down. Let's get these comments in. Let's see what you've got to say, people. Big up to everyone for tuning in. The press conference is the worst ever, these questions. You know what? I did the same thing again, right? I watched the press conference because people say, I don't do him justice by, just reading out the comments. Sometimes he says things a little bit different. But I have to admit, man, the press conference was poor the questions. I'm telling you, these men must be getting told what they can and can't say because they were terrible. They ask the question, they don't get a good answer, and they don't press him on it, Say to him, yo, can you elaborate? What do you mean? Is this going to happen? They just, okay, he said no, so we'll leave it. Really boring questions they were asking him, but we will get into it. It will be waffle settings, people, but I've got a feeling I'll be skipping through. As you can see today, sometimes this background triggers people. But for me, listen, I know we'll always be furious about the piano player in the Manchester United advert. But for me, one of the best and most exciting players that I have ever seen play for Arsenal. And honestly, I mean, listen, no explanation needed. For me, an incredible winger. You could put him up there with Pires as possibly the best winger I've ever seen play for Arsenal. That's how good I would say he is. So it's Alexis Sanchez settings today, people, on the background. Jashar said, big up Curtis, are you still drunk on the temporary fourth place? Listen, that's what it is, isn't it, people? You know what I mean? You wake up and then come back to reality that actually we could go to Leeds and drop points. But hey, Man United game's been called off. West Ham have got an easy game at home to Norwich. They will probably win that. So they would go back above us if we don't win. But if we win, we continue in the top four. So we have to do what we got to do. Arsenal 14 said, free Abba. Free him, man. Let him out of prison, man. Arteta's got him locked up. Locked up. They won't let me out. No, just let him go, man. Akon settings, free him. He's had his punishment. He's served his time. Jake Snack says, deserves the background. Come on, hey, Alexis Sanchez, baby. Alexis Sanchez. Oh, it is actually criminal that we let that guy go on one contract. When you think about it, Aubameyang renewed his contract. Ozil renewed, but Alexis didn't renew. One contract and then gone. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Levan said Alexis, best player of the Emirates era. I agree. I think for what he did over a long period of time, Omri and Fabregas, them guys, they left pretty quick. Hendon Guna said, remember, we've got Sunderland in the Carabao Cup on the 21st. Now, you're spot on there. Arsenal play midweek against Sunderland, Carabao Cup quarter-final. Now, obviously, that's a big game. Arsenal will want to win that cup. But in reality, we're playing against a League One team. Tuesday night at the Emirates. If Aubameyang is not in the squad for that game, in my opinion, I think he's finished. I don't think you will see him play for Arsenal again. Because there's no reason whatsoever for him to not be involved in that. So we'll have to see, man. But listen, big up to everyone for tuning in. Let's get into the West Ham's game is off. Big up to everyone. So I think we're pretty much guaranteed to stay in the top 4, no matter what. But obviously we need to, we need to concentrate and win the game. So the West Ham game is off. Big up to you, man. Big up. See, people, you keep me up to date. Curtis, which goal was best, KDB or Trent? I don't know. Do you know what it is? Yeah, KDB's was a rocket as well. I got more hyped up about the Trent one because I was watching the game. You know, when you see it live, you're like, oh my days. So, and I'm a massive fan of Trent. I have a lot of arguments about him, but I think he's incredible. So I go for the Trent one. The KDB one was a rocket, though. He had a lot of time and space, though, like Sus Major says. Let's talk about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I'm going to get through this quickly because some people are not enjoying constant conversation around Aubameyang, but we have to speak about it. It is big news, people. So the first section will be Aubameyang FC. We have got some news. This is slightly breaking news as well. So today, Aubameyang was pictured turning up at London Colney for the first time. Now, apparently he was at the ground on Wednesday, and they said he trained, but I think he trained indoors by himself. According to The Sun, Aubameyang rolled into London Colney today in his sleek Lamborghini an hour and a half before any other player arrived. I mean, it's probably a meeting. Doesn't sound like he's trained with the team since this whole situation occurred. So we're going to have a conversation. There'll probably be a poll. Yeah, I love a poll at the moment, I didn't know how to get the polls on now. Now I'm doing about 5 of them every stream. Curtis, this is much more than Aubameyang being late. 100%. One thing I will say now, you can't tell me that this is about him turning up 12 hours late from a plane journey to go and visit his mum. It can't be. There has to be more to it. And listen, Ash, you make a good point. Clearing his lockers, perhaps, Individual training. Yeah, the car's nice, man. Yanimai's sorted him out there nicely with the Lamborghini Jeep. This guy's got proper cars. That's one thing he's got. Man's in pole position. No Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen, anyway. This isn't good. I don't like it. I guess he's trying to be early now. Listen, I don't think he will be turning up an hour and a half early. That is for certain. So, Aubameyang. Arteta said, Curtis, whose side are you on? I'm on Arsenal's side. That's the best answer I could give you. I'm on Arsenal's side. Not Arteta's, not Aubameyang's. I'm on Arsenal's. Whatever is best for the football club, that's the side I'm on. If Aubameyang's sulking, then we ain't got time for that. This ain't the nursery creche. You can't sulk. You've done wrong. Get your head down. Train hard. Show the fans you want to be at the club. Get back in the team. You don't have to like your manager. I say this all the time. In football, in a regular job, you don't have to like your manager. You do your job. You handle your business. You pick up your check and you go home. So he doesn't have to get on with Mikel Arteta to still revive his Arsenal career. And if he's been mistreated by Arteta, then obviously he needs to sort that out with him. So, yeah, I'm on Arsenal's side. That's the answer I would give you. Navar said it's the Lambos, Curtis. Kevin Campbell settings. Big up Cliff with the super chat. He said, in the back of an Uber in Miami, shaking my head. Aubameyang may fully deserve what is happening, but I need to hear from him. Need all the facts. This is, for me, what has disappointed me with the press conference today. And big up to Cliff with the super chat, is that I just think Arteta needs to... He said we need transparency. We want to know what's happening. We haven't heard from Aubameyang. He hasn't tweeted anything since before this happened. What is going on with him? Does he have a future? Why can you not say, yeah, I've punished him, but, he could be back involved next week? Why so secretive? Arsenal Football Club is the star, says Craig, all day long. All day long. Arsenal. Let's not worry about individual players. As a man said, I'm on Curtis's side. As I said, even this guy behind me, Alexis, Omri, Van Persie, Fabregas, the day I've seen these guys leaving the football club, I said, listen, you see me? I will not have any major personal attachment to any player. I know a lot of you call me Aubameyang's lawyer, but trust me, I'm not that bothered about any player at Arsenal. Just give us the best team possible. PG said, makes me sad. Aubameyang needs a comeback. Poll settings, don't worry. The poll is on its way, man. The poll is on its way. And make sure you smash them likes. Nearly 1,000 of you already, people. We will find out on All or Nothing. Yeah, they'll probably save it for Amazon. Alvin said, like me, I don't really like some of my team leaders or associates at my work, but I get on with it at the end of the day. Let me take that off screen, Alvin, in case your boss is watching, man. I don't want you to get fired. But that's the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes. You said you would love Martinelli yesterday. Listen, I do to a certain extent. You know, I love what he represents as a player, his fight, his determination. You know, that's kind of what I love about Martinelli. But, you ain't going to see me walking around with any current player's name on the back of my shirt. Let me put it that way. Kev's in the building. Big up, Kev. Has Aubameyang come out and said anything? Is he fully committed to the Arsenal? Silence is wrong. And listen, Aubameyang is usually an outspoken character. So the silence is surprising to me. Now, his agent put up pictures of Aubameyang holding up the Golden Boot, holding up the FA Cup, holding up the Community Shield, as if to sort of say, well, look what he's done for you, Arteta, and look at the way you're treating him. But in terms of context, in terms of conversation, we haven't heard anything. Kev, if you're free, let me know. You know how this goes already. If you're free, I'll hit you up with the link. You get in here, give me your opinion. The people them are calling for you, Kev. Get Kev on the stream. Let me know in the comments. I'll take a big ball settings. Oz said, is Aubameyang taking advice from his agents? I think the silence from both. To me, this is the way I'm taking it. Arteta's avoiding questions. Aubameyang said nothing. That's told me that they haven't sorted out their problems. I don't think they found middle ground and said, listen, I'm taking the armband off you, but get yourself back in training tomorrow. You'll miss West Ham, and we'll get you back in the next week. I think those two are at loggerheads. I think they're still having arguments about what's going on. It's the players yet again. Say it ain't so. Listen. We're going to have to get some merch. It's the players, Curtis, with Kevin Campbell's name on it. It makes sense. Now, this story came out this morning. And this is interesting because the story came out this week. Oh, Barcelona want Aubameyang. Well, according to a report from Spain, Aubameyang is an even lower target than Alexis Sanchez in Barcelona's target list. The Gabon striker doesn't fit into Xavi's plans. And I've read a report on this. For anybody that doesn't know, this is one of the reasons why I put Alexis Sanchez in the background today. Alexis Sanchez is on the verge of signing for Barcelona. Bit of a surprise, really, considering that, he hasn't been playing for Inter. He's probably way past his best. And, you wouldn't expect it. But Xavi, obviously, he's got financial hindrance at the moment. And it looks as if Sanchez is on his way back to Barcelona. They obviously signed Dani Alves as well. They're getting the whole group back together. And according to this report out of Spain, Xavi has no real interest in Aubameyang. And when I've actually read deeper into it, saying that Xavi wants a striker that can link up play better, these are things that you don't associate with Aubameyang. So this is why I'm saying we have to kind of figure it out one way or another. Kev said, 3:15 you can get on. There you go. We got half an hour, people. So what I will do, I will get through the press conference settings and waffle settings before Kev comes on in half an hour, people. So there you go. Kev will be on in half an hour. Big up to you, bruv. Barca's transfer policy the last decade has been horrific. Afro Saxon said Aubameyang is on the January sales shelf. And listen, there aren't too many people with money nowadays. He's on 300 bags a week. Who can pay that? Penalty Spot said, controversial statement, you can't uncurdle curdled milk. What are you saying? Aubameyang's on, he's spoiled now, spoiled milk. So, Zhao said, Curtis, that intro was epic yesterday. We were moving mad shameless yesterday, I can't lie. It's time for the first poll of the day, people. Let me get one in there. So, what I want to ask you is this. We all know what's happened with Aubameyang. He's been stripped to the armband. Now, that would be embarrassing for a person with a big ego. Do you think, should Aubameyang have been in the squad for Leeds? That's what I want to ask you. Should Aubameyang have been in the squad for the Leeds game? There you go. The poll is in. Hit it up and let me know what you're saying, people. Listen, you know when Kev gets in, he's going to annihilate Aubameyang, by the way. Granted, you know when, not granted, when Mikel Arteta's lawyer comes in, he's got no chat. So the poll is in. Because listen, for me, I have to admit, I thought, do you know what? I didn't think he would be involved because we won, but I thought we would have got a little bit more clarity onto what was happening. Just quickly, Andre said, yes, didn't have to play, but in the squad at least. Davis said, no, needed to let the dust settle and compose the team. Kanav says, no, give him time. Party after party said, don't need Aubameyang versus Leeds. I hope we win. Unsullied said, nope, he should be on the curb awaiting pickup. Wow. Alvin said, yes. Omar said, yeah, but not start. Gumsy said, it's hard to say because if him and Arteta are still not talking, how can you include him? And that's what I got to be honest. I don't think those two are on any kind of middle ground at the moment. So that's why I think Aubameyang is not involved. So it's disappointing, but I just think we need clarity. You know, moving forward, I think it's important we know what's happening. Regarding Aubameyang. Listen, while we're here, we will get into waffle settings, people. It's Friday. Get the syrup ready. You know what time it is. The manager, the press conference. It needs no introduction. Mick Ross in the building. Coleman Music Business. He's won his last 2 games. We're riding high, top 4. You know, everything's sweet for him right now. Good opportunity to extend our lead, you know, with a lot of teams. You know, I wasn't aware until the community let me know that the West Ham game is off. The Man United game is off. So a lot of the teams around Arsenal are not playing this weekend. So Arsenal are guaranteed to be in the top 4 no matter what their result is against Leeds. But obviously, a victory, I mean, crazy enough, a victory would take us 5 points off Chelsea in third, you know. But listen, I don't think we need to worry about them teams above us. Hey, Polymation made this picture. It's legendary, man. It's history book settings, people. Get the syrup ready. It is waffle time. Let's hear what he's got to say. And I have to admit, man, it was another poor performance by the journalists as usual. I said, Curtis, stop transmitting waffles. That poll is tight. Interesting. We'll check that out shortly. Let's get into what Arteta said. And listen, they're asking him a lot of questions regarding, you know, the virus and the postponement of a lot of games. We're not going to talk about them too much. You know, it's something we already know what's going on. We'll quickly skip through those bits. Arteta on the Premier League's COVID situation and all the other things. With only 2 games surviving the Premier League weekend, the COVID-19 situation is a hot topic for Arteta at the press conference. So we'll get into it, people. Get into it. You know he's going to go on. He'll be talking about transmit or whatever. Man said Roblox head. Lego head, Roblox head, Arteta, man. I'm telling you, got that square head. Mick Ross' new album, Gold Lambo in the scrap heap. I'm telling you, man. He's scrapping that Aubameyang car. On the health of the squad, he said, we are good. We are waiting for more tests we will have this afternoon is the only thing we can do. On the general fitness, he said, we had a couple of issues at the weekend. We'll train and see how everyone is feeling. On how concerning the general... See, I'm going to skip through it. He does say, you know, they need to be more clear about what is happening. You know, teams don't know when games are going to be called off, how many players have to be injured, things like that. So he's asking for more clarity. Matt said, I find it weird some fans want him on the bench. If we're losing to Leeds and Arteta doesn't bring him on, then Arteta looks stupid. Listen, I think my biggest thing would be that until those two have settled their differences, Aubameyang won't play. He's not going to bring a player that he has a major problem with and have him on the bench. My thought process is just this. The first game where we drop points because of not scoring goals, everybody is going to say, why is Aubameyang sitting at home when you need a goal? So he needs to win these games, and then he can say, see, we don't really need him. But there is going to be a game where you look at it and say, oh, we could have done with Aubameyang. So I just think we want clarity. I think fans want to know, listen, if you're getting rid of him, we want to know. If you're keeping him, let us know. But maybe it's too soon. Ram said, Curtis, you should collab with Eunice Talks Football. I've seen him before. I think I'm sure he was on Matisse's channel before. VAR said, Curtis, when you see how Aubameyang is treated, I sometimes understand why players go to rivals. No loyalty, because players know if something happens, fans will turn on them at the blink of an eye. Listen, I always tell fans, right? And we've learnt this the hard way as Arsenal fans. When Van Persie goes to Man United, Sanchez goes to Man United, or whatever, Fabregas ends up at Chelsea, these guys do not support Arsenal Football Club. They're not emotionally invested like us. And the reality is, fans turn on players very quickly. You know, Aubameyang's been the hero for 2.5 years now. I would say half the fan base don't care about him. Half of them just saying, get rid of him. He's washed up. He's probably sitting there going, "Raw, I've carried this team for 2 years. I've had a bad year and a half, and I'm done." And that's how football is, unfortunately. When players leave and we still want them, we say, oh, you know, they're snakes. They shouldn't do that. But when they go wrong, we don't care about them. And that's the reality of football, unfortunately. These guys don't support the club. It's different if Steven Gerrard does Liverpool dirty and you're a boyhood fan and you're from that place. But these guys have no emotional attachment. They love the club as long as the club's treating them right and things are going well. Fair weather fans, but fair weather players as well, you know. But, you know, we should... This is why I say never get too attached to any player. You know, they don't love the club like we do. Then that's the way it is, you know. Let me skip through this waffle. On sticking with the leadership group, he said, yes, as I mentioned yesterday, it's been going for months and I'm happy with them. It's crazy because I remember when Emery did the leadership group, he was annihilated for it, you know, having 5 captains. I have to admit, I've never been in a dressing room where that has been the actual case. Brett said the level of disrespect for Aubameyang is actually madness. I think, and I can only speak about the Arsenal fan base because obviously being a part of it, I think with Arsenal, we're very all one way or all the other. You're either terrible, get rid of you, or you're great, we love you, new contract, you know. Aubameyang's done wrong and he's out of form. But has he done worse than what Granit Xhaka did when that incident happened with him and the armband? I would say no. Has he been a better player than Granit Xhaka? By far, way better than him. As I said, last season, people saying get rid of Lacazette. He doesn't score goals. He's no threat. Now he's flavour of the month. You know, roundabout settings, people. Like Harry's saying, it is social media. It is social media. It gives a whole different perspective on things sometimes. Zhao said, the only player I have on a shirt is Thierry Henry. I'm exactly the same. In fact, pass me that shirt now. Let me show the people. Great timing. Great timing, that. Look, people. Look at this. Look. Great. Right on cue. There you go. I put them names on the back of shirts, mate. That's the only 14 on the back of a shirt you're going to see for me. You ain't going to see no Aubameyang, no Alexis. No, man. Them man will leave. Thierry, man. Look at they were the glory days. Great timing there, by the way, with that question. You led me in nicely there because the shirt was just there. Put them shirts out, you know what I mean? Come on, man, proper shirts. You ain't going to see me with no Aubameyang, no, you know, none of these, man, on the back of the shirts. You'll see me with Henry and Bergkamp and them, man. But, yeah, man said Martinelli soon come. Listen, I rate Martinelli high, me. I wouldn't get him on a shirt. I got Walcott 14A. You know what? I can't lie, I was never a big fan of Theo Walcott. He's one of the most frustrating players I've watched. Curtis hiding the Adebayor. Listen, no Adebayor, man, I'm telling you. I was close to getting Alexis, but I wanted him to sign the contract first, and he never, so I left it. Kevin said, locked in from Antigua, bro. Hit the likes. Right, let me get back to the waffle before I get on how having 2 former captains in the squad affects things. And that's interesting, isn't it? Aubameyang and Xhaka both stripped of the armband. I always believe, and in a lot of things where I have been, we always had a group of players that were responsible for making the decisions in the dressing room and communicate with the coaching staff, the club, and transmit it to the supporters. He loves that word, transmit. At the end of the day, that decision was transmitted by one person. It was the captain, but the decision wasn't made by one person. So I think what he's saying is, even though Aubameyang was the captain, they still had this leadership group. He was still obviously discussing things with, your Xhakas, your Lacazettes, and whoever else was in it. CD05, you mean you never had a Mark Randall shirt? Man, like Mark Randall, Remember them times? Him and Lansbury and them kind of players. Transmitting waffles. Let's skip through. On how close the team is to getting where he wants to, he said, the last two performances have been really good in terms of what we want to achieve. The results we have got and the way we have dominated those games, we need to be consistent over 10 months to achieve the goals we want, which is to be the best, and we are not there yet. We're going to skip through this. They're talking about, the virus again, whether all the players were negative. Have they been met? He said there have been a few positive cases, but not in the players. And whether he is happy to play in the current climate, he said, we always want to play if the conditions are right. And whether the fear of the virus is harming the players, said we've done a lot of work. The doctor's spoken to the team. Thomas Frank, the Brentford manager, is calling for this break, a 2-week break to allow things to settle down. But, he's saying he's not qualified enough to discuss that. Got a Rio Miarchi shirt. I remember him as well. Van Hooijdonk, man. I actually watched Van Hooijdonk a number of times for Nottingham Forest when I was a kid. Free kicks were devastating, man. Anyone ordered Eddie's shirt? Do you know what? I can honestly say I've never seen anybody with Eddie and Nketiah on the back of their shirt. One thing that shocked me the other day, and I didn't discuss this, when I went to the game on Saturday, obviously there's loads of people coming out the shop. I did have a look in the shop, but didn't buy anything. And for the first time ever, I saw somebody with Granit Xhaka on the back of an Arsenal shirt. I could not believe it. I actually rubbed my eyes. Like, it was quite far away. I was like, I'm sure that says Xhaka on the back of his shirt. And I had to go closer. He had Xhaka. He was in a T-shirt. He was proud of it as well. You know what I mean? Wearing a T-shirt in the cold weather just to show everyone. I said, raw. I don't know who gets Xhaka on the back of a shirt, but boy, maybe he's friends with him or something. I don't know. But I actually wouldn't wear an Arsenal shirt with Xhaka on the back if you gave it me for nothing. I would not wear it in public. I wouldn't wear it anywhere. I'd feel dirty. I would not wear that. I can't believe he actually paid for it. But yeah, that was a first. I've never seen Xhaka on the back of anyone's shirt before then. I said, was it DT? Must have been Xhaka's family. I'm telling you, man, he must have won that in a raffle at work or something. Eddie sold less kits than anyone. He sold more phones than anyone, though. Let's keep moving. On whether getting COVID has made him extra careful with the players. Again, they keep right. This is where it gets. Well, I was hoping this was where it was going to get juicy, people, but you can tell by these short answers he ain't giving us much to talk about here. Man said you're rude. I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't take it for free. On whether Aubameyang is available for selection, he said no, he's not available for selection. They then ask him again on whether Aubameyang has a future at the club. He said, for this game, he's not available for selection. He's doing that old answering the question without answering the question thing. Now, I'm going to highlight this. I understand that if him and Aubameyang have not settled their differences, it's still a difficult question to answer because he might not know in his head whether Aubameyang does have a future in the club. Maybe Aubameyang's saying, no, you know what, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. You've treated me so bad, I want out. I'm done. Or maybe he's not sure whether he wants to keep Aubameyang. I just think here, I would have loved him to have given us some clarity. Now, like South London's Finest is saying, he didn't say no. He's just saying for this game he's not available. I just think, come on. If I'm the manager of Arsenal right now, I would want to put this situation away. I wouldn't want to keep answering questions about it. I would say, listen, Aubameyang is not involved at the moment. He's back in training, and it's up to him to fight back for his place. I would put the responsibility on Aubameyang. I would say it's down to Aubameyang what happens with his future from here. If he's willing to train hard and knuckle down, he can get back in. I just don't think this helps. Man said, sick answer. Captain Sal said, it's clear to me Aubameyang is gone. I have to admit, this makes me think that we're a long way from seeing Aubameyang in a match day squad for Arsenal. Aubameyang is going to run out his contract. 350k is a lot. Arteta's body language said it all. I mean, I watched the press conference. He looked a little bit like, I don't really want to talk too much about that situation. I'm just going to end that poll and see what your answers were regarding, do you think Aubameyang should have been in the squad? Should Aubameyang have been in the squad for the Leeds game? 51% of you said no. 49% of you said yes. So clearly, people aren't sure. Some of you feel he should have been, some don't. All I can say is one thing. The first time we drop points and we don't score or we only score one, people are going to say, get Aubameyang back on the bench, Smooth one, Jay said, going to get Xhaka slow mode on my shirt. Hey, don't waste your money, man. You know what I mean? Don't put Xhaka on the back. Even though it would look great. It would be great banter, to be honest. But no, that's a damning answer. But listen, like I said, Arsenal play Sunderland Carabao Cup on Tuesday. It's a game where I would expect to see a number of changes, being that Sunderland are a League One team. Surely Aubameyang would be on the bench for that game, even if he's not starting. You would expect to see him involved. Jashir said, big up Curtis, my client Aubameyang is going nowhere. He's just collected his mum. He's not moving her again or leaving her behind. Oh, man. Personally, listen, for me, and I know some people will say, oh, you're capping. I think Aubameyang being back involved, if his attitude is right, would still be a positive thing, because I'm still in the mind frame that I don't think Arsenal can rely on Lacazette playing through the middle on a weekly basis. He will have them games. He had that game the other week against Everton. When he doesn't get a lot of service, doesn't get a lot of the ball, he starts playing like Wilfred Ndidi, bro. He's playing like a defensive midfielder. You get the ball to him, get movement around him, he looks great. But, we'll have to see. Let's carry on anyway. On whether clubs should be more transparent about whether it's the players or staff, he said, well, that's what I'm saying. We need more clarity. On whether we'd struggle to restart football if we stopped for a weekend. He's going on. He goes on to say about, we have the African Cup of Nations, we have a World Cup. We need to, On whether he's worried about it affecting the players' concentration. On whether young players have matured into men. He said, well, they are contributing immensely. The performance and results, that is true. It's because they earn it. It's because they have other senior players around that have been really supportive and helpful. The club believes in them and has given them the opportunity, so credit to them. James said, once Vlahovic says yes, he will answer the Aubameyang question. Man said, Wilfred, I'm telling you, man, he turns into Ndidi. Laka will always revert to default, Twerkazette. Listen, when we struggle in a game, he seems to become that player and drop deep, and you don't expect him to score for some reason. I'm just sending Kevin Campbell the link now. Don't forget, people. Kev said he's going to join us in about 10 minutes from now. So make sure you stay tuned in for Kev's strong, solid defense of Mikel Arteta coming up. I tell you that for certain. Laka's playing for a move. I mean, that's the thing. That's why we're having that conversation. Is he playing for a move? Because I remember Mesut Ozil, before he signed the contract, he was outstanding for a couple of months. He signed the deal and he disappeared after that. Man said, see, skipping through everything. I'm telling you, man, we don't want to talk about the other stuff. Billy said, until we get the facts about Aubameyang, we have no right to say anything. It's guesswork, innit, Shaw and Campbell firm, I'm telling you. Kev is Arteta's lawyer. I'm Aubameyang's, although I've stepped down after that last week. Let's continue. Whether it's fair for some teams to be playing this weekend and some not. He said, I don't know what's the best solution. I understand it's a complicated matter to make a decision right now. What I'm saying is let's make the best decision based on what is best for the competition. On how important he thinks the vaccine is. I mean, listen, we're not even going to discuss it too much. We're skipping through that. On how big a test the last week has been for him as a manager. He said, well, every time that you are sitting here, you have some challenges. You have brilliant moments and some where you have to make decisions. I'm sitting here trying to make the right decisions every day. My intention is to get the club in the best possible condition, to defend our players, to get the best performances and results on the pitch. The questions today have been terrible, absolutely terrible. Zeke said, I actually think the club is allowing Aubameyang to focus on his mum. I mean, he looked angry in that picture. Doesn't look like a man who's, he looks like he's vexed. Clement said Lacazette is playing for a move. It's obvious that Aubameyang won't play for the team for a while, or Arteta is forcing him out like he did Ozil. I've always said with Arteta, I don't think he likes those big characters with an ego, that he knows where you've got an element of power and you can use that power against him. Mesut Ozil was a big character, a World Cup winner, on big money. He wanted him out. Guendouzi was a younger version of that, a bit of a troublemaker, get rid of him. I feel like Arteta will not want Aubameyang around him, especially if his mindset is negative towards him. So it's going to be interesting. Andrea said, yeah, 1,600 of you in here, people. Big up, man. Come on, the community. Hit that like button. Surely we hit 1,000 likes easily today, people. Light work on the Friday. Yeah, the questions. This has been a bad press conference. I can't lie. On what Aubameyang needs to do to get back into the squad. I mean, surely give us some sort of answer. Give us any indication of where we're going with this. Like I said, you don't want this to turn into a circus for Arsenal. You don't see this happening at Liverpool, at Man United, at Man City, at Chelsea, at Tottenham, at anyone. The captain, the star name, the highest paid player, beefing the manager. Put it to bed and end it. But he does the same thing. He does the Boris Johnson thing. He don't want to answer. He said, well, he's not available for the Leeds game. This is the situation right now. It's, it's a shame. I think fans, he talked about clarity the other day. I think clarity would have helped. But as I said, I do think that the two of them have not found middle ground yet. And that's probably why he is answering like that. These answers give Aubameyang nothing to cling to. I mean, you would hope that he knows something behind closed doors. The media are so desperate for the answer, I'm telling you. Mangis said, when you hit 30 players, just decline. This just shows these people don't have a plan for Aubameyang. I mean, listen, there are exceptions. We've seen with, Ronaldo and Zlatan and Messi, players going into their mid-30s and still performing. But a lot of players, especially players where their game is built around speed, as they kind of push into their 30s, you will see a decline. You have to find a way of getting the best out of them. Callum said, off topic, Big C, but I've completely forgot about Saliba coming back. I don't think he fits in with Arteta. He ain't going to drop Ben White. I mean, we'll see. I have to admit, I'm nervous about Saliba. I just, I have that same feeling about Saliba that him and Arteta don't vibe. I could be totally wrong. He could be back at Arsenal and playing next season, but I just have that feeling that, I could see him selling him if Marseille were to put a big offer on the table. Thoughts on Kelechi saying Aubameyang was thrown under the bus. I mean, listen, I've spoken about Aubameyang in great detail this week. It's difficult to say without knowing the whole situation. I think, again, without knowing all of it, if he's not acting like a captain, you've probably got no choice but to take the armband off him, because if he's having a negative influence on the team, you have no choice. I just wonder if we're going too far with it. But again, without all the information, we don't know. That's the problem. Jay Mystery said, yo, see, just join. What have I missed? Yeah, press conference. It's not a great one. And Kevin Campbell will be with us shortly, people. On whether the Aubameyang situation has any impact on Lacazette's future at the club. He said, Alex's performances, involvement and commitment is without question. It's not related to his contract situation. I discussed it in the summer with him, what the situation was, and we are both clear on that. Aubameyang's situation is something separate to that. Now, that kind of tells me that, well, him and Lacazette have had a discussion about his future, because when they every time he talks about Lacazette's future, he says it's the same as it was before, and we've never, it kind of sounds like to me Lacazette's not going to get a new deal. Because when he talks about Eddie and Nketiah, he's saying, we're still talking, we want to find a resolution. He doesn't say those things towards Laka. South London's Finest said, Kelechi was saying there were racial undertones towards Aubameyang in the fan base. I mean, listen, I don't want to comment on things I think it's the wrong time to talk about things like that. I think Arsenal always have a habit of, there always seems to be a scapegoat at Arsenal. Xhaka, Ozil, Alexis was turned on towards the end when he was leaving. And now it's Aubameyang. So I don't want to blame it on things like that. I think it's wrong to just say that. But, it's a whole different discussion. But again, he talks about Lacazette. On Lacazette becoming increasingly important to the team. He said he's always been really important, and since we've been together, he's played a lot under me. I've always been really pleased with him. He said on his importance to the squad, he's always been really important. Oh, no, sorry. And the next one, he says on Martin Odegaard's contribution, he's very, very young, but he's already had a lot of experience in different clubs in international football. I agree in the last few weeks he's getting very close to his best level. The ceiling for him, I don't know where it is with the talent he has, the desire he has, and how much he wants to improve and get better. We've got a tremendous player there. I mean, it is Martin Odegaard's birthday today, so happy birthday to him. Hopefully he gets us a goal tomorrow to celebrate. We are starting to see a better Odegaard. He has to keep it consistent. I still want to see a little bit more from him. I think he can be a bit more aggressive on the ball, open teams up. I want him to become a danger man where the opposition are scared of him getting the ball because of the damage he can do. At the moment, I would still say that teams are not fearful of Odegaard, but I hope he can become that player. He does look like he's improving. I will give him credit for that. And he has scored 4 goals. I think if we can get 10 goals out of him, that's a positive. Jashar, big up for the super chat, bro. Said, big up Curtis. I think Aubameyang's priority is his mum right now. Never mind captaincy. I haven't heard of him being fined over what happened. Yeah, interesting. We didn't hear anything about him receiving a fine. Maybe his focus is away from football right now. Happy birthday to man like Odegaard. Odegaard, one of Arteta's favourites. Yeah, he loves him. He loves him. Pre-approved questions. Listen, they probably walk in there, hand over the piece of paper. They go, no, that one, bin that one. What's he saying there? No, throw that one over the shoulder. He ain't answering that one. And, they're not interested. And finally, he said, on being part of the leadership group, he is a natural leader. If you look for the perfect professional, he wouldn't be far from that. So he's giving big, big praise to Martin Odegaard there. So, yeah. But I'm not surprised. He's a big fan of him, so that doesn't surprise me. Now, Mr. Brook the Neck himself is in the building. Kevin Campbell joins us on this Friday. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, Curtis, what's up? What's up, everybody in chat?
Come on, bro. What are you saying?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
I saw you on the touchline the other day. Saw you on the touchline, man, representing.
I'm pleased, man. We got that 4th spot.
Oh, mate. I had a party yesterday on here. Got to live in the moment.
Listen, Curtis, if you can't enjoy it, you might as well give up.
That's it, isn't it? If we can moan when they're bad, you got to enjoy it when they're good. So I enjoyed it, man.
There's enough moaning. We've seen enough moaning.
Look, we're going to start with a game. Obviously, you was working pitch side, representing us as you do. And saw you celebrating. Do you know what I actually said, Kev? I thought that was our best performance of the season because I felt like we controlled the whole game. What did you make of the win against West Ham?
I agree with you, Curtis. I thought from start to finish, you could see who the better side was.
Yeah.
We controlled the ball. We controlled the tempo of the ball. We nullified who was their danger man. We knew if you control Antonio, they are not the same team. And I thought Gabriel and Ben White, they dealt with him. Let's be honest, they dealt with him. And When you deal with Antonio, West Ham just are not the same attacking force. So what could we then do? We could then press them. Because anytime they knock the ball up, the ball kept coming back. So really smart play, but you have to play well against these guys. You have to play well, because if you don't play well against West Ham and they get ahead of steam, they've proven they could beat anybody.
Yeah, 100%.
So I thought we played pretty well. I thought first half, it was a travesty we'd ever went in 1-0 up,
1-0
at least 1-0 up.
Yeah.
But I said it at halftime. I said, when you're on top, you have to score. You have to get your noses in front.
Yeah.
And Curtis, let's be honest, we talked about is Martinelli ready? He's had his injuries and it's taken him some time. He's taken this chance. He has taken this chance now. And look, I'm not going to say it's Henry-esque finish, because it was so clinical. He got that one real chance, bang, used his speed, got inside the box, put it in the far corner, nice and easy, clinical, West Ham behind. And Curtis, if I'm honest, West Ham got away with murder by only getting done 2-0. Lacazette obviously missed the penalty, but whatever we done, we took off players and we brought on Smith Rowe. Smart substitution. Why? Because they're down to 10 men. All of a sudden, we've got another runner from midfield that they have to deal with. So, you see Saka pick the ball up, pass it to Smith Rowe, and then it's like the Alamo. There's like 4 or 5 Arsenal players running. So West Ham didn't know what to do. Saka, smart ball, bypassed Declan Rice, who was their best player.
Yeah.
And, we went 2-0. And Curtis, is as comfortable a 2-0 as you're going to get against one of the top 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah.
We played well. And one thing I will say as well, Curtis.
Go on.
The Arsenal fans in the stadium were brilliant. People tell me about the Emirates hasn't got no atmosphere. The atmosphere was electric, mate. So big up to the fan, big up to Martinelli, big up to the team. They performed. Big up to the fan base, because the fan base definitely pushed the team.
Yeah, man. Let me just get his super chat. I Am King said, hey, shout out to Cruz in the back assisting his dad. Man's got more assists than Aubameyang this season. Buy him something, bro. Hey, man's giving you £10, bro. Hey, say shout out, thanks. Yes, big up I Am King, man. I'll get him something. I just broke up from school as well, so I got my hands full now. But yeah, man. Kev, listen. Let's have the Aubameyang discussion, and we'll finish off on a high. We'll get this one out of the way. What have you made of it all? Because I know you've been in dressing rooms where things have gone off, and Van Hooijdonk, and loads of things over your career. The captain, the talisman, the star name, the 300 grand a week player. It's an embarrassing situation for Aubameyang, isn't it? And do you feel Arteta's handled it in the right way? And what do you make of it all?
Well, I think Arteta's handled it in the only way you can handle it, Curtis. It's the only way you can handle it. Because there are a lot of young players, impressionable players, who are at our football club now. I mean, the likes of Ramsdale, Tommy Arsenal, all these guys would be looking up to Aubameyang thinking, wow, I'm playing with Aubameyang.
Yeah.
And, Aubameyang's the big name, isn't he? He's the star man, probably the most experienced player we got, captain as well. So, Curtis, it's one thing just being a player, but when you're the captain as well, that adds another layer onto it where you're basically the face of the football club.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen him mess up being late when there's no crowd for the North London derby. Let's be honest. That's not captain behavior, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what else has gone on in between. But this obviously is the last straw. This is the last straw. Obviously, they've given him the compassionate leave and they've agreed what's going to happen. And Curtis says, well, don't forget, we're dealing with COVID times and there's protocols that have to be followed. Because if you miss the protocol, it's not just like we can just sort it out the next day just like that. No, you then get put back. Things get put back. So everything was agreed, and he decided to break protocol. He's the captain of our football club. So it's not even a matter of, is it Arteta against Aubameyang? No. It's Aubameyang against the club. Here's the reason why, Curtis. He's the face of our club. He's the captain. He's got the armband. Whatever he does reflects badly on our club. Good, it reflects good. Bad, it reflects bad on our club. Do you reckon those players needed to be dealing with questions about Aubameyang being stripped to the captaincy and his misbehavior before our most important game against West Ham? No. Right? No, they shouldn't have to be dealing with it. And Aubameyang should know better, Curtis. But do you know what's really ironic for me about this whole situation? How quiet Aubameyang is. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't said, listen, he hasn't said, I was there on time, I didn't mess up, but I'm fully committed to back himself. Or he didn't say, look, guys, I've messed up, stripped to the captaincy, but I'm Arsenal through and through. I haven't been playing well, but I'm going to knuckle down and get myself going and get playing again. I haven't heard anything like that. All I've heard is silence. And silence for me is a bad sign. It's wrong. It's not up to the club to be speaking for Aubameyang. The club can only speak for the club. The ball's firmly, on that sense, in Aubameyang's court for me, Curtis. Because as a football club, Curtis, what have we got to do? We've got to get on and try and win games like we did on Wednesday. Best performance of the season, no Aubameyang involved. Is it a coincidence? I don't think it's a coincidence, but played Southampton at the weekend, beat them convincingly after a difficult 25 minutes where confidence maybe was up and down.
Yeah.
Toughest game of the season against West Ham at home. Most important, we win that with our best performance. So Aubameyang, are you in or are you out, Aubameyang? Tell us, what are you? But the silence, for me, the silence
isn't good.
Isn't good.
Let me just get into these quick. Cody Mystify, big up to you, bro. He said, big up Cruz on the buttons. Curtis, if we lose Laka and Aubameyang, who do the young players look up to as the team senior? Xhaka. Well, maybe we need a little bit more experience around them. And Fitz said, big up to you as well, bro. I think it is clear that Arteta favours weak players that he can control to improve. We have to see the bigger picture and not live game to game. Big up to you two with the super chat. Kev, just because I agree with you in a sense that the silence is strange for me. Because if I'm Aubameyang and I'm being chastised now and half the fan base, are on my case, I would have said something on social media or got my agent to say something. I mean, where do you think we go from here? Because Arteta said today he won't be involved again. And Ian Wright's done an interview saying that, we need to nip this situation in the bud. The players don't want to talk about it. The manager will get annoyed, keep talking about it. Where do you think this situation goes from here?
The silence says to me, Curtis, that he wants out. That's what the silence says to me. Because if I was committed to Arsenal, Curtis, and I was captain and I've stripped to the captaincy, I'm coming out and I'm saying, look, my form has been poor, yes, but I am still committed to the football club and I will get my head down and I will get working on the training ground to get my form back and prove that I'm still the best player at the football club. I still could be a difference maker. But when you don't say nothing, that says a lot more and people could then start to speculate. But when you've been captain of Arsenal Football Club, it's supposed to mean something, Curtis. It's supposed to mean something. You're not just a normal player. But the fact of the matter is Aubameyang's keeping quiet, says to me he wants out.
I mean, today in the paper, Kev, apparently he turned up at Colney an hour and a half before any other player. I mean, I'm sure they're probably having meetings and discussing things. Do you think maybe he hasn't said anything because they haven't actually resolved anything yet? Do you think maybe, they're still trying to figure it out?
Well, like I said, Curtis, the ball's firmly in Aubameyang's court. The club
Mm,
have to do what they do because we've got games.
yeah.
Nobody's holding a grudge against Aubameyang. Why would the club hold a grudge? He's a contracted player. But here's the problem with some players sometimes. If you do wrong, Curtis, you can clean it up very quickly. But if you don't say nothing, and then there's gonna have to be meeting after meeting after meeting, and you're quite. It's just gonna prolong the problem. But as far as I'm concerned, that's what Aubameyang wants. Or he would have come out with it already.
I just want to come at you with an example from your own career. Obviously, I remember this well being a Nottingham boy. You obviously said, Forest accepted an offer for you to go to Turkey. You go to Turkey. At the time, fans are probably going, why is Kev leaving? Just got promoted, this, that, the other. Sometimes would you not, do you think you would have come out if social media was like it is now and kind of told the fans what was happening? Or is it difficult for Aubameyang? Are they telling him, don't say nothing till it's sorted out?
No,
I'm just thinking, is it easy for him to do it?
The club ain't telling him. Come on, if you're at Loggerheads, do you reckon the club could turn around to the strip captain and say you can't say nothing and you control your social media? No, it doesn't work like that, Curtis. It definitely don't. You might think the club have got the all-consuming power, but they don't, Curtis. These players are powerful on social media. And this is the reason why I'm saying Aubameyang's silence is wrong. Because all of a sudden you've got a fan base now who are going to come to conclusions when he could have easily sorted it all out. He could say, look, I'm in a bit of a hole. I'm feeling down, but I'll be back. Or he could have said something, Curtis. But to say nothing? That makes no sense to me. Makes no sense whatsoever. And I know, look, you put on the hybrid squad the other day, nothing comes before family.
Yeah.
Nothing comes before family. You're 100 million% right. But the question isn't about family. The question is about timekeeping, Curtis. That's the question. And at a football club, timekeeping is vital, let alone in these times.
Yeah.
So the club have to do what they've got to do. Seems like the players have all responded.
Yeah.
To what's gone on, and they can focus, which is a good sign for us as fans that the players can focus. But Aubameyang needs to sort himself out. What do you want to do, Aubameyang? Because the way his agent's moving, it doesn't look to me that he wants to stay.
Ray here with the super chat said, greetings, C and the legend. Kev, this duet is so fire. I'd pay to watch it at the theatre. As much as I like Aubameyang, I think he brings too much. I think he was putting negative attention to us. Big up to Ray and big up to Sam for becoming a member on the channel. Kev, we play Sunderland on Tuesday. Carabao Cup, League One team. You'd expect changes.
I'm doing that game in the studio.
Is it on Sky?
Yeah, I'm doing it for Sky Sports News. Yeah.
Everyone look out for Kev there. I mean, do we expect him in this one? I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? We just don't know. He's got African Cup of Nations in 2 weeks.
He has, but he should have thought of that before he decided to do what he done, Curtis. You see, for every action, there's a reaction.
Yeah.
Now, he probably thought, I'll get away with it again. But let's be honest, Curtis, the likes of Pepe need to play. Pepe needs games. Because if Aubameyang's not going to be there, Pepe needs a 90 minutes. 2, because he's got Africa Cup of Nations as well.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? Listen, if Aubameyang is not committed, Curtis, keep him away from the team. And I know he's been an incredible player. You don't need to tell me because I've backed Aubameyang all this time.
I
Even
know
when he was
you have.
playing
Yeah.
poorly, I backed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Strikers Union.
yeah, Strikers Union and all that. I'm all for that, Curtis. You know, you're all for that. But at the
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
of the day, when you do things like this that really impact the team and the club, so there's not much. I can't protect him. I
I
can't
hear you.
protect him. So the manager had to do what he needed to do. He wants to move on. Do you reckon he wants to be dealing with questions about Aubameyang now? He wants to be talking up some of the players who performed the other night. Yet he's still
Yeah.
having to field questions about Aubameyang.
Yeah, it's a tricky. It's a horrible situation, isn't it? It really is. There's 2,000 people in the chat. Make sure you lick down that like button, people.
Brock up the like button.
Come
Minimum
on, man.
1,000 likes, guys.
Come on, man. Easily 1,000. You know what I mean? And someone was asking if you're on the Highbury squad tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be fire. Trust me. Watch tonight. Whoa.
That firework. What time's that?
That's 8 o'clock tonight.
8 o'clock. So there you go. Lick down that like, subscribe, and then go and check out Kev on the Highbury squad tonight. I'll be in the comments firing it up as well. Kev, Leeds tomorrow. Leeds United away. I mean, a lot of games called off, but luckily ours is still on at the moment. They lost 7-0 in midweek. Now, 50% of me saying 7-0. Yeah, we'll have some of that. We'll go up there and get 4. But then the other half saying, boy, this is a wounded animal. They're going to be a different team at home as well. It's a dangerous game. What do you make of it?
Curtis, you've hit the nails on the head as always. This is 100% a trap game. If we do not turn up or we play like we did against Everton, you know what's going to happen. And I was talking to somebody outside the ground the other day, and they were saying, what happened at Everton? I said, do you seriously think the Arsenal don't get the best of every team? I said, because you look at the way Everton performed after against Crystal Palace.
I saw it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and then you look at the way Everton were committed, and that's what happens, especially when they're at home, Curtis. They're on the front foot. They're going to come for you. And believe you me, Leeds are going to come for us. That's why we have to be tough. We have to be smart. And we got to make sure we can play and beat the press. If we beat the press, we beat Leeds. If they trap us, Curtis, we're in for a long day at Ellen Road. Trust me. Because Bielsa doesn't even need to do a team talk after the way they got slapped up the other day.
7-0. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming you've played at Ellen Road as well.
Played
lively atmosphere.
Loads. Proper lively. Great fan base. Loads of noise. The Arsenal are going to be there as well. You know what I mean? Arsenal going to have their contingent. Hostile atmosphere. Perfect grounding for some of these youngsters, because the youngsters who played there last year played there with no fans.
Yeah.
This is one of those real old style feel to the game where the crowd are against you. You're Southern, you know what I mean? You're Londoners. They hate you up there. Us against the world. Us and our fan base against the world in that stadium. Let's leave with 3 points. You play them, you beat them, and you take the 3 points and you come back home. It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be as tough a game as we let it be, Curtis.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, you're spot on. Do you know what, Kev? I want to ask you this. Obviously, I saw that in the home league of home games, we're second in the league if it's home games. We're 12th on away games. Do you think it's because we've got such a young team that we're maybe not coping with those atmospheres away from home as much?
Yeah, we're not coping them. There's a certain experience you have to gain away from home, Curtis. At home, everything's hunky-dory. You sleep in your own bed. You come in. It's all familiar surroundings. It's all nice. You got your nice fan base, lovely stadium. Away from home, you're going into another man's place. You know what I mean? You're going into
It's
another
true.
place. You don't know the surroundings.
Yeah.
They're gonna make life as difficult for you as they can. So when you know coming out at the Emirates, everybody claps you. You go out away, they're booing you. You turn up on the team coach and you're
Yeah.
getting booed. They're all throwing things at you. You have to be mentally strong. You have to be
Yeah.
mentally strong from the time you get up there to the time you leave there. So there's certain things as well during a game and when you're playing that you have to be able to know how to quell the crowd.
Yeah.
You can't just be this free-flowing football team all the time that
Yeah.
are going to get. You have to roll the sleeves up. You have to make fouls when you can. Sometimes you have to tuck in and just sit in position for 5-10 minutes because you don't want the home team to get ahead of steam. All these little things you have to be able to understand and do on the fly and get the temperature of a game. But when the game goes end to end to end to end, that doesn't suit
No.
us. We want to constrict you when you've got it, and we want to play when we haven't got it. But in order to do that, you've got to know what to do. And
Yeah.
you've got to demand from teammates, and you've got to pull people around. There has to be a level of commitment there away from home. And listen, we've done okay. 12th is okay. But where we want to go, Curtis, we want to be in the top 6 of that.
Need to be at the top. Yeah.
We want to be in the top 6. We want to be number 1 in both, but as it's a
Yeah.
young group, we need to get up to maybe 7th, 6th, and then we'll have a real decent second half to the season, I'll say.
You know what? This is a good question. So Emil said, which team has the most hostile crowd? Because I'm thinking you played for Arsenal at Tottenham. You played for Everton at Anfield. You played for Trabzonspor. The atmosphere is unbelievable in Turkey. Like, what was your most hostile away ground?
Spurs is always good. I mean,
Yeah.
Spurs is always good. I mean, the crazy thing, Chris, I think we've touched on it a little bit before, where I'm playing Merseyside derby, and there's blues in the Kop. You would never see that at Spurs or at
never.
Highbury or at the Emirates. Never. But there's blues all sat together, blues and reds sat together. Families are split down the middle. They go together. It's changed a little bit of late, but it's, you still do get it. I mean, Spurs is always quality hostile. Millwall was always lovely and hostile as always.
I've heard
as you could
about
imagine.
that, yeah.
Galatasaray away back then at the Ali Sami Yen was always beautifully hostile. Any northern team as a Gooner, it's hostile. Anyone was hostile because you're Southern and they don't like you for being Southern from London. That's the first part. So whichever way you want to go, they hate you. From up north, they hate the Londoners. You come in to try and inflict damage on their team, Curtis. That's what people have to understand. You are not only the enemy, but you're from London. You're double.
It's different, isn't it? Even me being a Nottingham boy, sometimes we play man from London say, listen, man, these man, you know what I mean? You got to get stuck in. They don't want it. It's a bit, I mean?
Exactly.
It's different. You know what? People chucking a few questions in. Luzma said, Kev, who was the best captain you played with?
Listen, I was lucky enough to play with likes of Stuart Pearce and guys like that. But no one supersedes or betters Tony Adams. Nobody. And Tony Adams was captain from a young. You know what I mean? I was captain at 2021. Easy. He was the best. He was.
Do you know what's funny? Somebody was putting in the comments when we was talking about Aubameyang. They were like, it's crazy when you compare to what some players were doing and going through back in the day at clubs. Like, obviously, Adams and Merson, we know they've had problems and stuff. when you put it into context, you think, well, he turned up late a few times. All right, you have got to punish him, but does it warrant how far it kind of looks like it's going? Because to me, I kind of think, is there more to it than just being late with Aubameyang, do you think?
Curtis, here's the one issue. When it's disciplinary issue like what's going on, don't forget Tony Adams, he went through his tough times, but there was never any question of his commitment to the football club.
Okay.
Paul Merson, he had personal issues, and people have personal issues, but there was never any question about his commitment to the football club. But what Aubameyang's been doing, it's stuff that is easily avoided.
Yeah.
There weren't no Tony Adams turning up late for a North London derby. Paul Merson turning up late for Paul Merson not, having something agreed with the manager, and then Paul Merson not turning up or being there at the right time when what he's agreed with the manager. It's nothing like that. So I think the point of the matter is, I understand it may look that way, but these are all self-inflicted wounds by Aubameyang. He doesn't need to do that. He's captain. He's already held on that pedestal. He's already the face of Arsenal. But, maybe it doesn't mean enough to him to take seriously. Whereas for me, Tony Adams was the ultimate captain. He had his problems. Of course he did. But do you know what, Curtis? You tell me someone who hasn't had an issue or had a problem in their life. Everyone's had something to deal with.
Exactly.
It's just magnified when it comes to footballers.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Like you said, everyone's got personal issues. It's just, I suppose, how you deal with it on the pitch. What's your gut feeling with Aubameyang? Do you think he comes back in at some stage, or do you think he moves on?
I would love Aubameyang to come out and say that he's fully committed to the Arsenal. He took a few days to reflect after what happened, but he's definitely committed to the football club. And he knows his form has been poor, but there's only one way to do it: put it right on the training pitch and then prove it when he gets his opportunity. That's what I would love to hear. Curtis, I may be in dreamland because I don't think I'm going to hear that.
No.
I don't think I'm going to hear it at all. Because normally the agent comes out and tries to smooth things over. Yeah. The agent's come out and he's throwing haymakers. Do you know what I mean? The agent's throwing haymakers.
He's come out. He's come out swinging, bro. Punch him in the mouth. You said, Kevin.
Yeah, come out swinging. He's trying to thump up Arteta and the club. He don't business. This is my client. No. Look what he's done for you. Da-di-da-di-da-di-da. But Curtis, that was then. We're not saying Aubameyang is not a quality player, but we're talking about now. His form's bad, and then he does this. It's not right. That's not how a captain behaves.
Kev, a question that was interesting. They asked him, if Aubameyang was on fire, do you think they would have still done this? Or do you think, because sometimes managers act different when you're in form, innit? Do you think they would have done this if he was on form?
I think if he would have done this and he was blasting in the goals, they could strip him of the captaincy and still play him. But remember, Curtis, because you're an employee at the end of the day. Yeah. Anybody who's had a reprimand at their job, they don't not make you not work. You still have to work.
Still got to go in the next day.
You still got to go in and you still got to work. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, Curtis, it's an easier one because he was dropped from the team and he wasn't playing. And let's be honest, his form has been poor. His form has been poor. And I'm an Aubameyang fan, as you know.
Yeah, I know.
Poor. He did deserve to sit down. Yeah. And look, the team now has moved on.
It's true. Josh Shaw saying here, Kev, Super Kev, do you know if Aubameyang has been fined?
Maybe he's had a fine internally, but I haven't heard anything that he's been fined officially.
Yeah.
They have these fining system within the club if you're late and all that kind of thing, or if you miss an appointment and stuff like that. They probably have that within, but officially, if it's official, they would have had to probably say he's been fined a week's wages or something. But I don't think they've done that.
Kev, do you think Arsenal can make any kind of challenge on this top 4 spot?
Curtis, do you want the truth or do you want my heart?
Listen, just give me the truth, man. That's all you're here for, Kev. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Right. The truth is, Arsenal are not quite ready for the top 4, so-called squad-wise.
Yeah.
Right? We are in a nice position now, of course, but we know there are many bumps in that road as we move forward. Okay? My heart says we win this game, especially with others not playing at the weekend. We win this game tomorrow, Curtis.
Bit of breathing
We're a lot
space.
closer. We're a lot closer to Chelsea than Chelsea would want us.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be looking who's the next team with the target on their back. I ain't looking behind. I'm looking ahead.
I'm telling you,
Curtis. Yeah, that's the way I want to think. I want to be Chelsea messing up. All right, let's win another game. Then it might be 3 points or whatever. You're in with a shout, Curtis. Before you know it, the games are running out. And I know that's my heart talking.
Of course.
My head says, and the truth of the matter is, we are still a work in progress. We're still learning on the job. We've got a young, talented team who are finding their feet at the Arsenal, doing really well at the moment. But we've had our beatings. We've had to take some licks, Curtis. You know what I mean? We've had to take some licks. But if we get there, we are where we are on merit. Go to Ellen Road and win, and then you're looking up at Chelsea just above you now. Who's to say they're not going to mess up?
And they have been lately, haven't they?
Look, the Everton. Look at the Everton side. They played last night. Fair play to Everton, by the way. Went there and had a right goal. Goal.
Could have won as well. You see that ball Iwobi never played to Decor.
Straight through. Listen, they could have done something. But getting a point at Stamford Bridge for a lot of these teams like a win. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's been a fortress for years. It's Curtis, how we get the 3 points, I don't care. The key is 3 points.
Yeah.
Get 3 points tomorrow, and then you're saying, hold on a minute. We're not as far off this top 3 as we think. We're close. There's after the game, Curtis, I spoke to Granit Xhaka after the game. Yeah.
What, did you interview him or just a chat? Oh, no, you interviewed him?
Yeah, we interviewed him. So it was myself, Scott Minto, and Adam, who spoke to him. So I asked him a question. Scott Minto asked him a question. Adam asked him too as the host, right? I said to Granit Xhaka, my question to Granit Xhaka was this. Granit, is there a belief in that dressing room that Arsenal can get the top 4 spot? And his reply to me, Curtis, was, if there wasn't a belief, it's no point us coming out on the pitch. There is a belief in there, but we know we're not quite where we need to be, but we are improving. That was his answer to me.
That's what he said.
Yeah. And I thought, do you know what? That is a good answer. Because even the players feel it then, that we're not quite there yet, but we're improving. They feel as though they're improving as a squad and as a team. So, especially when you're keeping clean sheets.
Kev Page just said, Kev, did you ask him when he's leaving?
Hey, funny you say that, right? You're going to love this.
Go on.
Adam asked me after about, my feelings about Xhaka. And I said, listen, I'm straight up. I told you, I don't even want him at the football club,
Hey
right?
man,
And he
I said,
said,
yeah, cut the interview.
but no. See, he said, but he had a decent game. I said, listen, the fact of the matter is, I don't pick the team. I support
Yeah,
Arsenal. So he's out on the pitch. He does his job. I got no disrespect for the man. But when he disrespected and done what he done, for me, he's finished. For me, he was finished because I've been there and I know it can grate on you. And what happened on social media, listen,
yeah,
is disgraceful.
unforgivable, terrible. Yeah,
But within the confines of Arsenal Football Club and the stadium, you take your licks, keep your mouth shut, you're well paid to do it, and you move on.
mm.
I can't condone what he done. Never, and I never will. Fans have the right to say or do whatever they need to say. Listen, I've had it. No problem to me. Hear nothing, come out. You always get a chance to put it right, Curtis. That's the great thing about football.
Yeah.
Do you know what? And fans love being proven wrong. That's what I've found. They actually love being proven wrong.
Kev, let's face it, we're all fickle. We're all fickle. You know what I mean?
Of
Everyone's
course.
slaughtering, man. Nah, I remember last year everyone saying Lacazette, nah, man, no goal threat. Now we're going, what, captain? We love
New
him.
contract.
New contract. But this is what I'm saying with the Aubameyang thing as well. You got to look at it. Xhaka's come from being stripped to the armband, fans abuse. He was flirting with Roma and Mourinho most of the summer. And yet he's still in the team. So it shows you can redeem yourself if your mindset is in the right place.
Curtis, you know what? Granit Xhaka, it's like this guy's got 9 lives. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's like a puss. You know what I mean? He's got
Yeah.
9 lives. But one thing we have to say, when he partners Thomas Partey, we are pretty solid in that midfield. West Ham, a lot of people are talking about Rice and Souček. Let's see how Partey, who by his own score has only been a 4, because he knows he's better than that. Granit Xhaka against Souček and Rice. Rice had a good game, I thought, but I thought our 2 midfielders were better as a pair. I thought they were better the other night. We made some silly errors which nearly cost us, especially second half, silly passes across our box. But
Xhaka.
Xhaka. All in all, Curtis, I thought we outplayed them a lot more than they hurt us. So, Xhaka rolls on. I just think to myself, if we had a better player in there than Xhaka, we could go another level.
Come on. We'd be cooking.
I think we could go another level. But now we're having to deal with our star striker not even being involved. And the fact he's not involved at Leeds tells you something, Curtis. This squad's moved on. This squad have proven we don't need him.
I mean, can we say that after 2 games?
Now, Curtis, if he's not committed to Arsenal Football Club,
if he's not committed, yeah.
But that's the way we have to think, because he hasn't come out and said anything. That should be the first thing you come out with as a player, to mend any egregious thought that anybody might have. You would want to rectify that if you're committed. But the silence says so much more.
I have to admit, when we won the other night, I was expecting maybe he says something about the win, because I even remember when Ozil was out of the way. I remember when the team were winning, he was like, "Come on, you Gunners, bro!" And I thought, at least. So I thought, because I think Aubameyang hasn't put anything on social media since it happened.
He put the tattoo on. He's put the tattoo guy. The tattoo guy put it on. But you see, Curtis. But this is the thing, Curtis. If you're Aubameyang, and we know he's got a flamboyant personality and he's a nice guy and all that kind of thing, stick to being who you are. He's probably been told by his agent, say nothing. Let me do the talking. And the agent's chucking haymaker. He's swinging. He's Joe Foreman up the place.
He's going mad, bro.
He's going mad. He's trying out Golden Boot pictures. He's trying out FA Cup. He's swinging.
I'm telling you, the man's going mad.
Yeah, he's going mad because this is my client. It's like you're disrespecting my client. But agent, boss man, your client done wrong. Hold your hand up.
Do you know what's funny, Kevin? The first picture, he put the Golden Boot one up. So I look at the picture, I said, "Raw, we're wearing a Puma kit. We haven't had Puma kits for like 2 years." I said, "No, you can't."
He's digging deep. He's digging deep, Curtis.
You know what I mean?
Because he's saying, my client, look at what my client's done for you and that football club. Right?
Yeah.
Of course he is. Listen, you have to back your guy 100%.
Of course.
But also, Curtis, if you're an agent, you still have to mitigate the damage.
Yeah.
You have to mitigate the damage. And that's what they haven't done. You know what I mean? They haven't done anything like that. So that to me says something's going on. They're trying to get a move. Or else it would be so important to clean it up. But they're not cleaning it up. As I said, the agent's coming out and he's throwing bombs.
Yo.
You know?
Man said, what? He won you the FA Cup. He won you the Community Shield, Golden Boot winner.
Listen, he's trying everything. Kitchen sink in there.
I'm telling you, man. But you know, man, it's that what have you done for me lately thing, innit? You know, he's going to say, boy, man, 10 goals last year. You know, I was nearly sacked last season. So people don't care what you did yesterday. That's the thing, man. But no, it's it. I'm telling you, man. It's going off, man. What's your prediction for Leeds, man? I predicted a nervous 2-1. I just feel like we'll make it more difficult than it needs to be. But maybe if we score early, we can run away with it. But I'm going 2-1.
Yeah, listen, remember they gave us real problems up there last year. Remember Pepe got sent off up there last year.
Yeah.
You know, we're a year wiser now. I think beating West Ham was really good for our squad. Be really good for the youngsters. And I think we go up there and win, Curtis. I think you could be right. I think it might be the odd goal. I'd like us to win convincingly, but I'm going to go 2-1 as well. I'd love it to be 3-1 or 3-0, but I'm just going to go Arsenal win. And, you know, we keep that pressure on the top three because we've got to really push for that. We have to.
Just before you go, I wanted to ask you, because I always like to get a bit of insight from you, obviously, while we've got you on it. Obviously, you've been a captain in your career, aren't you, when you was later on in your career? Was that at Everton?
Everton and West Brom.
So you've been a captain. Like, what was it like for you when you got the armband at a club? Did you feel different? Did you act different? I know you said, you know, you was kind of helping Wayne Rooney come through at Everton. What was the armband like for you?
Well, once you get the armband, Curtis, there's a certain responsibility that comes with that armband. Now, obviously at Everton's a big club who have never really got back to where they were for a while now. So you tend to find you're managing, you've got to look after your teammates, you look after the dressing room, and, you know, there's a lot of this leadership group and all that kind of thing. That's been in place for years. It may change, the name may change. Basically, what people are talking about is the experienced players. The experienced players as a collective are the police force of that dressing room. So you can call it a leadership group, you could call it experienced players, whatever. So you're looking after them, you're looking after the youngsters, you're the connection, obviously, between players and coaching staff and manager. So you're having to deal with that. You're having to deal with a lot more fans, you're having to deal with a lot more media. So there's a certain responsibility that comes with. Also, you have to take it upon yourself to try and make everybody better, Curtis.
Yeah.
That is so important. And not just better on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. Right? But here's the thing. Here is the thing. when you mess up, it affects everybody because you're the figurehead,
Yeah.
you're the captain. So again, there's so much more to just having the armband that you have to handle throughout the week. You got to do a column and you do all of
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
little things that as a player, you just train, you do what you do, and then you go. So much more to do as a player.
You know what? Someone just put there, Kev. Kev, why didn't you direct Rooney to Arsenal? I mean, we turned up at Everton, pulled out Francis
Arsenal
Jeffers.
Arsenal couldn't afford him.
They paid big
Couldn't
money in it, 30 million back then.
30 million at the time, yeah. 30 million at the time.
Kev, someone just asked in the comments. Obviously, you don't have to go into detail, but have you ever had a fight in the dressing room or anything?
Yeah, there's arguments happen, Curtis, and you always make sure you keep those things in house, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But listen, football's a passionate game, and when you listen, that Arsenal side, we were all good friends. But let me tell you something. There's a lot of things that got said in the dressing room and people squaring up and all that kind of thing because we're winners.
Yeah.
You know, you're winners, and when the game finishes, it's done. After the game, it's finished. But in the heat of passion, if you're not doing it, Curtis, it may not just be me. It may be 3 men after you. Curtis, get your house in order or get your head in order. Do you know what I mean? We need you. Get hold of the ball. And you might come back and then we'll go over. Do you understand what I mean? That's the way.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the
It
culture.
happens.
But mostly, and then once you work out, that's how the culture is.
Get on with
Curtis, get hold of the ball. No problem. You're right. I've got to get hold of the ball. There was no more confrontation. But that takes time to get there. It takes time.
I don't know if you saw, obviously, like Paul Merson. I think he's going for a rough time again, isn't he? I think he's brought out another book and stuff like that. Like, what was he like when you was teammates with him? Did you ever know about these issues he was having and stuff like that?
Which one? I mean, Merce, unfortunately, was one of these guys who had the deadly triangle, didn't he?
Yeah,
And I'm sure, obviously, all three, with the pinnacle at the top was the mental health, because maybe now people are talking about mental health and the situation that people are in, but back then, gambling, drink, and drugs. That one alone is a deadly part. He had the triangle, but then you get the pyramid on top, which is his mental health. His mental health had to be all over the place. If you're going from one to, if you're doing all three kind of things. So, and it's a constant battle, Curtis. That's one thing. That's why, ourselves at the Hybrid Squad and probably you, this is why you do your podcast, because a lot of people can focus on what you're talking about, what you do. They could look forward to it. That's helping their mental health.
Yeah.
We've had lockdown, etc. People have looked forward to your show. People have looked forward to the Hybrid Squad. It really makes a difference in people's life, because you know what? Just being there, sitting around, being in your house, it could drive people up the wall.
Yeah.
It really could drive people up the wall. But the fact of the matter is, you know what? I've got, Curtis TV to look forward to. I've got this, it takes them away from the mundane part of their life. Even if it's for an hour and a half, Curtis, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It really does.
Do you think more needs to be done for footballers, like when they retire and stuff? Because you see a lot of footballers say, I've retired, that adrenaline's gone. If you don't get into TV work or coaching or management, it seems very difficult.
Curtis, it's very difficult anyway, because there's only so many spots in media. There's only so many spots in coaching. And it's very difficult to replicate that adrenaline. You've been in dressing rooms. It's very difficult, the banter and the camaraderie. It's very difficult to replicate that. You've got a good rapport with your fan base on here. That helps, I'm sure. You could have a bit of banter and,
Yeah,
waffle TV, and you could say all of these.
Kev knows
No, but
about the
no,
waffle,
but all of
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things is like a dressing room.
Yeah,
So
of
this is
course.
like your little club, and you have all the banter and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not many people can get that. Not many people can do that. Not many people's as creative as you are, Curtis, to have a channel that can do these things. So, guys, it's like they lose their right arm when they stop playing, because it's a piece of them have gone, and it's difficult. It really is difficult. Can more be done? Of course, more could be done. Football clubs could do more to help ex-players, obviously, but at the end of the day, Curtis, people have to look after number one. They have to look after themselves. They can't rely on the football clubs to help them. So, in any
Mm.
way, shape, or form, what they have to do, they have to work out a way. How do I get my arm back? Do you know what I mean? How
And
do I
make it
get,
work.
yeah, make it work? It's harsh. It's harsh, but it's a reality. It's a tough one.
Darren, thank you for the super chat. And well said, Kev, by the way. Said, what is Kev's lineup for Leeds? Because obviously a lot of people saying,
Same
Smith
team.
Rowe's. Ah, there you go. Simple.
Same team. Same team. We
Go again.
we yeah, we listen, we more than done enough and to see off West Ham. Smith Rowe came on icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Now, if everyone's fit, we go again. If everyone's fit, we go again. 100%. But if he needs to tweak it, I'm cool with that as well, Curtis. Because if you're bringing a Smith Rowe in, and just let's say you're saying to Odegaard, all right, you sit down for this one, that's all right too, because it may change again. We've got a few games coming up. There's another game on Tuesday. And by the way, this Sunderland, I want to give them a trouncing. Their manager has been talking. Their manager's been talking out of his neck. So
Yeah.
I want to brock it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling
You know what I mean? I want to brock him up. I want to brock the neck. 100%.
Yeah,
So,
man.
Curtis, maybe he can afford to tweak things a little bit, but not too much. Maybe if Odegaard was to sit out and Smith Rowe was to come in, I'm cool with that. If he's good to go with the same team, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. No, listen, as long as we go 3-point collecting, we're all happy anyway. So hopefully, and then after that we got Wolves and Norwich, which two winnable games there. So hopefully we end the new year well and high up in that league, man. But yeah, listen, Kev, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your kind words and reaching out as always and talking to the community, because like you said, it is important. And even me, I'm a fan of other shows. When I come off this, I think, I can watch this, Hybrid Squad later, and other shows, Turkish Big Six and all that. So yeah, I think it is important that people keep doing this type of thing.
Curtis, I think the great thing about the Arsenal community is we have such diverse shows that you can watch. You get something different if you watch you get something different if you watch AFTV, you get something different if you watch Turkish, you get something if you watch, there's loads of different ones, Hybrid Squad, whatever. Lee Judge's TV, even Lee Judge's TV is different to what he's doing on AFTV. So there's something for everyone, is my point. There's something for everyone. You can enjoy, but the key is to provide something that people can relate to. And you've got a good fan base, you've got a good community, and all I say, Curtis, is keep up the great work, boss. Keep up the great work, because you've got a great channel here, mate.
No, I appreciate it, man. And listen, I always say with the Arsenal fan base, man, we're like a dysfunctional family. There'll be falling outs, but we've all got that same mutual thing. So,
hey, but Curtis, if anyone needs a lawyer.
I'm done, mate. I'm done. I was Aubameyang's lawyer. I've been released. I'm done. He's been locked up.
Listen, but I knew you had no chance with that. You had no chance with that. But I want to talk to some of your community. Some of your community. Here we are sitting in 4th place, and it's not a gloating thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Arteta is the greatest manager since sliced bread. But The fact
He
of the
is.
matter is, I was told a few weeks ago that he's lost the dressing room. Now we're sitting in fourth place, having beat West Ham are unbelievable. I was getting West Ham. What about West Ham chucked in my face? Well, we just seen them off.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to see where's all the Curtis disciples now. All
It's the
quiet. It's
players,
amazing,
Curtis.
isn't it?
It's the
It's the
players.
players, though, Curtis. It's the players, and always will be.
It's the players, Curtis. Hey, you know what? Let's make sure we're there at the end of the season, Kev. Then I'll eat
Of
the humble
course,
pie. You know what I mean?
of course. I got one baking right now.
Yeah, man. Bake that up. Yes, I don't mind. Just get Arsenal back in Europe, Champions League preferably.
Yeah.
But listen, big up to you, Kev, a legend. And listen, I always tell the people, man, you have to appreciate, because how many, former Arsenal players are doing what you're doing? You know what I mean? You give up your time, you support numerous channels, you give us insight that we wouldn't get. Where else would we get that from? So I have to big you up as well, Kev. And I always appreciate the time you give up.
No, thank you. Much appreciated, mate. Listen, I love coming on and going in the comments. Sometimes I can't come on, but if I could leave a couple of comments, I like to check in on you and see how you're going, Curtis.
Yeah. I see the comment. I go, here he is.
Yeah, check up. Hey, I got to check up and see what's going on Waffle TV. Come on.
You know what I mean? Hey, I need one or two bottles. I need one or two of them bottles of wine in the background for Christmas, man. You know what I mean?
You could have them, mate. They're empty. So no problem. You could have them. They're empties.
That's what Arteta was doing to you, innit? Man's necking bottles after the game.
Hey, listen. My client is a good client. Leave him alone.
Yeah. We'll leave it, man. We'll leave it. Well, listen, make sure you check Kev out. Highbury squad tonight, 8 o'clock, did you say?
Yep, 8 o'clock
Yeah,
tonight.
man. And make sure you like the video. 2,000 of you in here. Lick that like button and subscribe. And we'll be back tomorrow, 4:30 for the watch along, 5:30 kickoff. So make sure you tune in for that. Big up to Kev. Big up to everyone in the comments, and we'll see you soon.